Yeah, so we're gonna talk about makeup. I'm gonna use the scriptures. So, what does the Bible say about Christians wearing makeup? So, in 1 Timothy 2:9, it says, "In like manner, also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh a woman professing godliness, with good works." So, like we are commanded, that we should not go after vain things. We are commanded not to be that Jezebel spirit that will sit before like the mirror and paint her face. Like there are many Christians who wear makeup and they do not actually know the danger in wearing such makeup. Because first they even deceive themselves, thinking that however that they paint themselves is how they would actually look, coveting after looks that they do not have, because that they're not content with how they look or just how they are. And that is actually very painful, because we should be very much content with the way that we just look. We should be very much grateful to God with whatever that He has given to us. You know, it's very hypocrite when you say that, "Oh, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made," yet you're wearing makeup and with all the jewels and rings and you like wear wigs, especially for the black women, we wear wigs. Now when it comes to braids, for example, I have braids. I do that because I do not want to stand too much long in the mirror. I do not put in any extra hair or whatsoever. We have many ways to deceive ourselves in how we think that we will look. And I know you black ladies, you know what I'm talking about. But it's not necessary for that. It's all in vain. We are just supposed to look very much modest, not with provocative clothing and with all the gold and the silver, the extra rings and the watches. It's all in vain. Professing godliness, with good works, that is to teach the children and those who are younger in faith the 10 Commandments, and to eat clean and to fulfill the royal law. Those are actually the good works that God expects us to do. But here, of course, Paul expands upon it, but where does he get this, right? So let's go back to a very good example, and that is Jezebel. So in 2 Kings 9, it says, "And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out the window." So she did that with an intent to seduce him. She did that with an intent to pull down his guard. Like, why else we women would put our makeup on? We want attention from men. We want to compete with other women as well. And also, like I said, because we are just not content with how we look, which we should. And it's a very dangerous thing to actually go after makeup. It is witchcraft, putting witchcraft on yourself. And there's a very high danger into that. And I hope you guys actually repent. But let's continue on to see what actually happened to Jezebel. As Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, "Had Jimri peace, who slew his master?" And he lifted up his face to the window and said, "Who is on my side? Who?" And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, "Throw her down." So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. and he trod her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and said, Go, see now this cursed woman, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull, and the feet, and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, This is the word of Jehovah, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, In the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field, in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, This is Jezebel. So, obviously she was also a prophetess of Baal, and she did, of course, a lot of stuff, bad stuff. But she also usurped authority over man. The spirit of Jezebel goes hand in hand with the spirit of Ahab. Ahab is what I would actually call literally a gay man, very weak man, not leading his family, even not leading spiritually his family, but a man who just says yes, yes, yes to a woman, whatever that she says, even though she's wrong. So this is actually what happened to her. She was like painting her face before she was going to be before she was intending actually to manipulate him or seduce him into getting what she wants. And there's actually all over the place, all over the Bible, where it says even more regarding this kind of Jezebel spirit, but also because we ourselves, we women, if you just be honest with yourself, you have that Jezebel spirit, and that even starts with being very prideful, being very haughty, and that starts literally with first putting on your makeup and then thinking that, okay, I look so well, I look so good, perhaps no man can even resist me, or they will resist me, but I'll still be looking good. Someone else will be looking good at me, will be looking at me anyways. So you do that with an intent to actually seduce a man, and you should be very much honest with yourself about it. But God does not want this. Jehovah does not delight in this, and he will punish women who are performing this kind of witchcraft, because you lie to yourself first, and then you lie to another, and then you covet after those, so other women who put makeup on, you covet after how they look, and you want to compete with them. So let's go to see where else it is written. This is the outcome of what will happen to women who have or who do makeup. So in Isaiah 3 verse 16, Moreover, Jehovah saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, so that's proud, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet. Therefore Jehovah will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Jehovah will discover their secret parts. In that day Jehovah will take away the bravery of her tingling ornaments about her feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tables, and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass. So he now literally lists actually what is also kind of lists in 1 Timothy 2. So it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and instead of girdle a rent, and instead of well set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy man shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So this is literally then the consequence that will happen to women. And that is actually in Great Tribulation. This is what will happen to them, or to you if you still put makeup on. In Great Tribulation, you'll be bald. You will stink. Even like your beautiful clothes, there will be like girding of sackcloth. That doesn't really sound good. And your husband, or even your man, your boyfriends, I don't know what you do, they will all die by the sword. So where else? Let's go to 13. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Okay? So your children, and this is actually not only for those who put makeup on, but also for the women who usurp authority over man. Literally the Jezebel women. She puts on makeup and then she usurps authority over man. So like those female pastors, this is what will happen to them in Great Tribulation. And this is what will happen also with their children. They will be raped. They will be spoiled. So verse 17, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, or as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. You see? So this is something very, very, very grave. This is, I do not wish this on all of you. I really do not. If you do not want this to happen to you, first you must repent from the makeup, but also keep the 10 Commandments and start eating clean. Those are the covenants of promise, which Yeshua died for us then to make it possible that we can be in covenant with Yah. Doing away the sacrificial law, as it is, you can find it in Acts 3, 19 to 26, and that is referred to Deuteronomy 18, 15 to 20, and also Isaiah 28, 12, that we are in a time of refreshing. We're not in the new covenant yet. We are in the time of refreshing. That means that the old covenant is being refreshed. It's being renewed. And that means that it's just that the old covenant, the sacrificial law that was added because of transgression, that has been done away with when he said it is finished on the cross. But the 10 Commandments, which was still desired at Horeb, which we also still desire, is what we should follow. Because God said if we keep his covenant, so it is a conditional agreement, that is by keeping the 10 Commandments, we are in a covenant with him, and we are then special people, and also we will be protected. And even more importantly, to teach this to our children. For there is a blessing in that. Ephesians 6, Deuteronomy 6. And Deuteronomy 5. And that is how we teach actually our children how to honor us. By teaching them the Ten Commandments, they will keep them and they will honor us, and they will do the same with their children. So not teaching our daughters to put makeup on, not teaching our daughters to dress like whores or sluts, not teaching our daughters to start envy other women, other girls, how they look. So let's go somewhere else. Jeremiah 4:30 says it as well. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, see, that's makeup again, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. Okay? And did not put this here on, but it's fine. Revelation 2:20. Then it says, notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman, Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. So you women, you female pastors, you still have time to repent before you go into great tribulation. And the following will happen. Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery, spirit adultery, idolatry, just Christmas and Easter and etc., with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. He says it again, except you repent from your deeds. And even in tribulation, you can still repent. It says that in Deuteronomy 4:27-31. If you will seek him, if you will really seek him, and that means to start to keep the covenants of promise, the Ten Commandments. Sabbath is Saturday, dawn to dawn, Sunday. And to eat clean, then you will be saved. And also fulfilling the royal law, of course. You will have to teach. You will have to be a watchman in great tribulation, which will be even much harder. Not impossible, though. Then you have to warn people to come back to the covenants of promise so that they will be saved. So you will still have, you even have time now to repent. You will have time then to repent. If you don't, then you will go through the fire. In the fire. So verse 23, and I will kill her children with death, and all the churches shall know that I am he which searcheth the reins and hearts, and I will give unto every one of you according to your works. So please repent, ladies. You have to stop also doing the Christmas and the Easter and all the other pagan holidays, and start to keep the Ten Commandments, eat clean and fulfilling the royal law. That is teaching others to do the same. Like we are literally at the door. I just really hope that you guys can see this and understand that if you will continue to be prideful, to be wanting to usurp authority over men, being a Christian and then mixing it with being a feminist, which I understand. I was there too, and thinking that becoming a female pastor is okay, but it is not. The scriptures are just very clear. It is very clear. Women are supposed to be silent in churches, and that is what it says. This is what I will put in the part 2 video. But first things first, the makeup has to go off. Those fake nails have to go off. Provocative clothing have to go off. The jewelries, the wigs and everything, it has to go off. And more importantly, do not teach that to your children, because what you do to yourself, they themselves will do too. And so you are actually teaching them to be a Jezebel woman.